Hello and welcome, Overwatch fans. We are here and we are live. Little IE in action coming hot at you. That is the Indiana Esports Network. I'm FBI Tugboat. Here with me, back in the saddle, is Orbital. Orbital, how the heck you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. Excited to be here. Excited to dive once more into the playoff action here.
Yes, very, very excited for it. We got the semifinals coming up at you. Anderson, a total map count of 31 and 8, taking on Snyder, total map count of 28 and 3. Before we really dive on into this one, Orbital, I do want to give a shout out to Zotac Gaming. Yes, we want to give a shout out to Zotac Gaming for supporting Scholastic Esports within the great state of Indiana. You can show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming by giving them a shout-out over there on your various social medias if you so choose. Make sure to join their community on Discord, and don't forget to use the hashtag powered by Zotac or Zotac USA when you post. Getting maps in now. Yes, we're starting with Control, going on over towards Escort, little flashpoint action after that, Push and Hybrid if we do get there. And I believe since we're in the playoffs now here, Orbital, we are going to be staring down the barrel of a locked map set. Oasis, Dorado, not Colorado. Maybe that's the Overwatch 3, right?
Colorado. they just bring up mountaintops for you. You have to fight on a vertical angle.
Right. That'd be great. New Queen City and Paraiso for the hybrid if we do get down to that best of 5. If there is a tie in any of these, then we'll figure out map number 6. We have not seen that yet within the IE in this season, so we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. Do want to give a huge shout out Anderson coaching staff. That is Pilfin. Snyder coaching staff. That is Newman Meister. Big shout out to these adults who, like I was saying pre-show, give up their some of their free time, extra efforts to go forth and allow these young folks to compete within these awesome Scholastic Esports associations and go forth and play competitively, right? What is better than that, Orbital?
Yeah, I mean, well, what's better than that is not just playing, but playing and winning. I mean, these coaching staffs have done incredible work here, making sure that the players understand how to play the game, not only in the regular season, but here in the playoffs. For note, as you were mentioning, we haven't had a tie in the entirety of the playoff run so far. Needless to say, it's not just no ties, it's no games won by the losing team. And that means that the top dogs are currently just running things over. It's 3-0, I believe, across the entirety of all of the matches so far. Every winner has taken it 3-0 in these BO5s. And you know for a fact that means that this is going to be a spicy one here in the semifinals. Anderson coming in as the second seed, Snyder as the third.
Yeah, so pretty classic semifinals here. Number 1 seed Indiana Digital Learning and number 5 seed Speedway. So number 4 seed that's IHSEN Overwatch getting 3-0'd in the quarters. Anderson taking down Mooresville. That is number 10 seed Snyder taking down Michigan City Varsity. Once again, as Orbital mentioned, all 3 zeros right there. Let's hope for a little bit extra, right? No 3 Overwatch here for the semifinals.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and have a little bit more fight in you, and it all starts right here, right now. We are into Overwatch here. A little bit of a, I don't want to say interesting compositions, but it is going to be Jetpack Cat number 1 for Anderson's side with the Sigma, which is a little bit surprising. Damage spread going to be a little bit more nullified around the entirety for Anderson's side, but the meeting of the minds when it comes to Control is all about the initial. Let's see who pulls off that first win, Snyder or Anderson.
Yeah, I gotta say, so I think Snyder has a little bit more variability when it comes to that healing core. Plenty for it for Kiriko and Jetpack Cat on the other side, but this is a quick rotation. Anderson on 2 point. They're going to be sitting fat and happy and right here. Oh, no! Ooh. That's going to be a healer not able to get out of the source of danger there. Omre? How do you say this one again? Onron, that's right.
Yeah, tough loss there, but like you called it, it was a little bit rough. But Anderson first on the point, and even with their loss, they were able to fight back. They dropped Yamara on the back end as well, so it was a very quick tap on either end. It's just better positioning from Anderson's side. I feel like the composition can move very quickly. How long will they hold it for is the big question. A lot of nice doorways for them to hold on to, especially with the high ground, they can do some damage.
Yeah, and they have a pretty mobile composition as well. Everybody here with some sort of movement ability. Nothing really on the line here anytime soon. Sigma's getting pretty close, flirting with 65 as of right now. Gigabyte falling first here. That's a shield up. Now gets back with the rest of the squad. Comes in, does the damage, and gets out. Snyder sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, and that was a Vendetta. I mean, Vendetta just wiping through some of these newer healers, and I don't think Anderson was really nice flank coming out of Snyder. Very well done. And you clean house, you not only stagger some of those deaths, but you take them all out and turn that point. 43% for Anderson. For Snyder, it's all about that flank, though, to catch the attacking side off guard now.
We'll see how this one goes. Snyder seems like they're going to be comfortable sitting there. Now the setup is here. Here comes the flank and not able to get out. First to die in the team fight yet again. Here comes the Sigma ultimate. That should get a solid bit of damage down, and now some solid chunk damage into the corner. This team fight's pretty much over before it even really begins. Correct me if I'm wrong, Orbital. This kind of just seems like a squad here from Snyder that just provided way too much space in between their healing and their front line of the tank core.
Yeah, I would agree with that to a degree. I think the main thing is Hello tried a very sneaky side angle flank and it just did not work. I think Anderson were more than ready for it. That compounded with the fact that their tank, as you said, their tank and their healers were very spread out, allowed Anderson to pick them off one by one. Big swap coming in for Hello, now onto the Tracer, which is a big difference here. Double ultimate being used though. Yamara as well as Popcorn trying to amp up that major damage. And Snyder trying to clear out the house. It looks like they'll be able to do so to some extent, locking down some of the major tank value, but a nice shield into that corner will keep the rest of Anderson healthy just for a moment, getting them to about 78%, but Yamara slams them home, and here on this Emery is so painfully strong that no one on Anderson's side can keep up.
Yeah, nicely done. It kind of started as sort of a slow burn, if you'll excuse it. But at the end of the day, Snyder just did a fantastic job taking down healers, taking down the tanks afterwards. I mean, this Kiriko and teammate just everybody pretty much deleted at the same time. The Jetpack Cat just wasn't really able to sustain up top for any amount of time. That's frequently what these players are going to do when a little bit of flack is caught. Now, rotating around right here, I do like this one. See how this one goes as the Juno takes the skies.
Yeah, I like what they're calling for right now. That is going to be a difficult one, though. Snipe on the back end. Gigabyte was ready, and it does feel like Anderson, whenever they're on the attack, just feels so much better. Emerys are so dang strong, and Gigabyte sending a Hail Mary right back. Even Owen gets in on that kill threat. Twizzy goes down, and both teams showing a lot of proficiency here on their aggressive attacks. I love it.
Yeah, this is last fight territory for Anderson. Snyder takes this one over. Anderson might have a little bit of a capability to get back at 16% or so. That does take a little while here, but hey, we wanted a well-rounded and evenly matched Overwatch match here for our semifinals. I think we have gotten it, Orbital. On board right now with Yamara. Back and forth, and we're going to see the Onron taking that one down. Tracer taking a long walk off a short pier right there, and still completely back and forth. Anderson comes out on top, only one player left. That is, and this should be the rest, and yes, it will. Anderson will take it down. 184 is not a bad score line.
No, it's not, but that is, it feels very disheartening, right? So far, Anderson and Snyder have both shown a proficiency and a penchant for the aggressive stances. It's always gone kind of back and forth with who wins the attack. Whoever wins that just kind of turns it, and it's just swapping back and forth, which is why we saw such a high call. And it felt like Snyder themselves, you mentioned Hello slipping off the edge, they're falling to their doom. And that happens, but you can't let it happen in such a high tense situation. So for Snyder, I want to see them locking down a little bit more and be able to fight back and maybe take first turn here, not allowing Anderson to get the point first.
I do like this little Sigma on Sigma action. Hello going on over to the Fray as well. Maybe try and get a little bit of damage at a little bit farther distance than that Tracer. Obviously, this submap having a categorically different geographical setup. There's that kind of like mini boop hole in the middle as well. I mean, you get down there, it's a long walk back. Almost like a mini pick. Nice hit. Almost got this one off the corner. Now Rock's flying here. It's going to be Gigabyte finding their counterpart on the other side.
I mean, I love that Snipe. Emerys are so dangerous. If you allow them an inch, they will take a mile, and you can see as soon as Yamara went down, Crota and Hello had to be forced out of the fight. Popcorn kind of left alone, and there's a swap. Yamara saying, I can't deal with this. I need to go to that Snipe. I need to go more towards that Ash and be able to get the opponent away. But for Anderson, they set up their barrier, they set up their defenses in the doorway, and now they hold for an unknown amount of time.
On board, Yamara right now. We've seen this DPS absolutely pop off and contributes to the Amethyst Slay on the other side. Gigabyte, it's a slow burn after that one, finds it. Yamara gonna be able, and yeah, trying everything right there on run, not gonna be able to find quite enough. Juno takes to the skies. And yeah, try as they might, I'm not sure if Contain, yeah, Contain's not going to be able to take on a trio right there. We have another flip. I think we saw 4 lead changes last sub-map.
Yeah, it's very back and forth because they're so good on their attack, and I think both teams are suffering a little bit on their defensive ends. They do not feel very comfortable on it so far. I haven't seen any team or either team really be that defensive stronghold, which is why I actually like this float out to the side. For Snyder, it's not defend, it's force an attack somehow. Give them space on top of that point and then re-aggress from the outside.
It's so smart here. Now Freya is gonna have their ultimate available. Only person on the side of Snyder for right now. Sigma will be up there soon. Here comes the Jetpack Cat. Kidnapped. Absolutely kidnapped. Freya not gonna be able to pull that one early. Yamara falls as well. And a quick flip right here. So Snyder kind of repositions off, and this is Anderson actually. So they take a pick, but while they're doing that, because Snyder isn't on, they take it a little bit earlier. So that's why they're creeping past half as of right now, 52, 53%.
I mean, that was beautiful. Very, very well done from Anderson's side. That capture just kind of caused some problems, and Snyder had the right idea, but they just weren't able to capitalize, and now you're walking into a major ultimate from Gigabyte. Sarah has an extra as well if they need to. But look at them getting taken out so early. Chrono with a quick lock contain, trying to do their best and holding off the opponent. But Snyder has the orbital ray to keep them all healthy. Anderson lost 2. They're about to lose a 3rd. They are bottlenecked in this back corner, and there is no chance for Anderson to get away. It's yet another turn.
Yes, it is. What is that? Three possessions across there. One for Snyder to get up to about 30%, one for Anderson to get to 33 or so. And then another, 50% or so on top of that. That might be the deciding factor here. Anderson enjoyed the lion's share of points last sub-map as well. Just a reminder, 184. But the Freya falls early. And oh man, so this 60% may not last for a super long time. They're down 4-5 in this team fight. A wise team would get involved and get involved quick before that respawn comes back. Jetpack Cat taken down in the thick of things. A fantastic shot with the boulder right there as Healing Core decides to reposition. And that is a no investment. No, excuse me. They did use the Bob right here. So a low investment, not no investment. Excuse me.
It's okay. I mean, considering what we have seen thrown at the wall, I would say this is a lower investment output. We've seen them use 2 to 3 ultimates before. It's true. They only needed 1 this time around, and it worked very, very well. For Anderson, you're once again in this position where, hey, we've been on the aggressive. We can fight this, and we need to go one more big time. You're going to be an OT when you try and take this point.
99, here it comes. Sigma to the skies.
Oh, what a
Serena
snipe!
First to fall. Fantastically done. And just a wipe. Snyder definitely going to be able to take this one, maybe even finish it with a team kill belt. They will. There you go. There you go. We love to hear that at the very, very end. 100 to 81. That is about a exact flip of the script than what it was in the first sub-map, right? 184 there, Orbital.
Yeah, and that was because of the Sigma. Beautiful ultimate to lock everyone in place, allowed Hello on the back end to slam home a massive shot, and you saw Twizzy and Hello just wipe out the opponent. And I have to give credit over to Yamara as well. Yamara swapped off the Emery, who is your main hit skin. You swapped on over to a sniper, and you're able to pick off a lot more damage on the back end. Surprised Anderson, I think, a little bit more than they were expecting, which is why we're seeing a shift for Gigabyte as well. Gigabyte now swapping over to that Tracer to try and get around it and deal with that sniper. So adjustments by both teams here in the semifinals.
A little Frogger action going on with our production staff. Big shout out to Connie, big shout out to Taylor, always having fun and making our jobs as casters that much easier. Very much appreciate them. Have to agree with the Tracer play though. Yes, Yamara, this Ashe, well-placed shots can hit, but you have to hit those shots, and they're rather difficult. This Tracer can also go forth and really punish Kiriko in the back line. Well, it's not going to be the Tracer, the Ashe involved in either of those. No, just a quick switch on over to this Doomfist, and they're already flirting with 30% here, Orbital.
Yeah, I mean, Hello and Yamara were just off on no man's land, I think, and just got kind of caught unawares. And now we're seeing a shift again. What is this? Multi-shifts from both teams. Snyder now bringing out the Cassidy, and then a little bit of Sombra on the back end. What is this?
Yeah, Mizuki as well. That'll be the first time we see this relatively new healer featured in this one. Stayed on the Juno, stayed with the Sigma. I think that just makes sense when you're also flirting about 30% from on high. We'll see how Snyder does it. Vertical positioning is always going to be an advantage no matter what FPS you do play. Well, hello, bit off a little bit more than they can chew, and that is how you quickly delete. Control A, Control X. I guess that's select all, cop, and cut, not exactly delete. You get what I'm saying. That's how you get rid of a DPS core. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that for Hello, you were only at 23%. Maybe you thought you were at 100 with the EMP, but it ain't gonna work. So Anderson kind of gifted that extra turn here on their defense. It was a misplay on the side of Snyder. And for Snyder, maybe you go back to the drawing board and go, okay, this didn't really work out. We need the extra size, we need the extra damage. And that's why you're bringing out a little bit of the Orisa. Orisa not exactly high in the meta right now, but can do a lot of work if trying to use that Terra Surge, but it ain't available right now.
I have to wonder at what capabilities, what other player here is going to have to coordinate with the Orisa for her ultimate to get a lot of value from this when she does that, do that javelin spin to win. Here comes the hack, trying to find the Doomfist. Gonna be able to hack that away, get a little bit of damage, get on top, not gonna happen. Contain, Name does not give up the fight, doesn't stop till the whistle is blown. Just absolutely launched on top of the Juno. Never had a chance. This Orisa, yeah, they're not gonna be able to take that corner and gets out. That's a nasty stagger at 94-95. First sub map went the way of Anderson, relatively close. Second sub map went the way of Snyder, relatively close. Third sub map cannot be described the same.
Yep. Very, very destructive work here, and Gigabyte on this Tracer alone seems to have dismantled the backline. When I give credit, I mean, Gigabyte, we saw them swap off onto the Tracer, first time it feels like, and yet has dominated the scoreboard this entire round. This sub-map is all theirs, and it should be off the back of this Gigabyte, who had an amazing time just kind of skirting around a lot of these snipers. When you saw the swap over to Cassidy, immediate swap to the Tracer saying, I know where you're going to be. You're not going to be able to, you know, be safe in there. I love that call. And then this flyby, by the way, huge play by Snyders, and Yamara with this ult play was able to clear out so much damage. One of the defining moments for them, even if they didn't get the first match victory.
Yeah, that Imre being as soon as you get targets here, you want to try and take that heavy shot when you're pulling your ultimate and hit one of the squishies, but I think they just kind of realized, like, nope, I have teammates for a reason, Orbital. They're going to be able to clean them up on the inside where I can't necessarily hit right now, where I'd have to like reposition, then get less than, you know, the 3 heavy shots that I get per ultimate, right? I think that was a perfect example of situational awareness. Now let's fast forward here to submap number 3 and how exactly that went. Contain, Name. This really just seems like this player went on a Doomfist, and then Anderson won. Like, yeah, especially 84 to 100, 81 to 100, you know, back and forth across the first 2 sub-maps. We're heading to Dorado here next. But the third sub-map, I mean, this Doomfist was just able to get in backlines, completely disrupt lines of healing as well, if not, like, directly taking out a healer of some other kind of support. On the back or on the front side of every single team fight, it seemed like throughout that entire third sub-map, man.
Yeah, it was, it really did feel like there were some very nice adjustments coming out there, and I expect to see it going forward once more. Now, looking over on Snyder's side, I have to wonder exactly why they went to the sniper build out. It felt like a very, I want to say a snapshot call without identifying why they needed to swap, right? It was more like hero-to-hero basis, so I do want to see if there is going to be anything done specifically about that and how it's going to work out for them. One of the big things I do want to see is them protecting their DPS a little bit more. It felt like their DPS decided to kind of float to the edges a little bit, so I want to see them maybe group up a little bit more. Maybe we get to see a Malga that kind of pulls them all together, front lines a bit more. But everyone has their own favorability in there, so we'll see exactly how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to do this within a, you know, within a control, right, to like really identify a threat, like within a sub map where it is like tied up and, you know, winner takes all in the in the third one there. Maybe a May, something like that, to have kind of shut down that Doomfist. Junkrat's always good with the the chunk damage, and of course their trap. CC even a little bit with their concussive blast. But moving on along here, Dorado, crowd classic, crowd favorite Orbital.
Yeah. Sounds like it's going to be a good time. It looks like there might be a little bit of a call out
just
here.
A reset, yeah.
A little bit of a reset. Yes, so and they are correct. I believe the losing team does get to decide which side they get, which kind of makes a little bit of sense in there.
Yeah. Especially since
we'll
maps are
adjusted,
already selected, right?
Yeah,
like,
pre-selected, so the losing team gets their benefit.
Yeah, so anybody unfamiliar, the classic would be the loser picks map, or the person who does not win the first map picks the next map, right? Escort control almost always being the first map, given that it is symmetrical, even-handed, all the good stuff, right? And then so the team who loses the first map goes forth and picks map for map number 2, and then the winner picks the side, attack, defense, just kind of to try and get like a little bit of a better idea to set the pace for that second map in a best of 5 that is also setting the pace Orbital for the entire series.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on for these players, and I really do hope that they put up a good show and fight to the best of their ability, because one of the big things for them, it's just making here to the semifinals is a very arduous task in itself. So I do expect them to kind of fight their hardest in an appropriate fashion in there as well. So I'm very excited to see a little bit more of them, and to hopefully get an interesting segment of how this is going to go. It looks like we got everything sorted, by the way, so big shout out to the teams, making sure to rule check each other, which 100% I always stand by. Always follow the rules and make sure you know what is going on.
Gotcha. So Snyder now on the left, for anybody like me that will call it the wrong way the entire match. Anderson with contained name now on the right in the red. Again, that is more so for me than it is for you guys, because I'll call it wrong like consistently, right?
We do need the verbal reminder. We do need the verbal reminder a little bit.
I do. Again, it might sound weird. I'm saying these words out loud for me and not you, but I promise it's the case.
Yeah.
Taking a look at this one, I think we do have a sub, Krona. Popcorn Lava? Was Popcorn Lava playing in the previous?
Off the top of my head, I do not remember. I think it might just be because we swapped sides. But either way, if they did, hey, that might be a shift that works for them. For Snyder, might be what they need, bringing in essentially their new utility backline, even though the heroes are staying the same.
Very true. Very true. Hey, contained name, staying on that Doomfist. Yes, it is categorically different when you come to the geographical makeup of this map versus the third submap of Oasis. Dorado being very, very different, but when you have that much value, I think it's really tough to try and say, hey, I should play a different tank.
Yeah, it's just a little bit scary either way as well. One of the big things we get to see this flyby as the Jetpack Cat is out. But it is going to be a cycle here for Anderson, starting things off a little bit rough as they lose Serena early.
Yeah, so defense going to be holding strong from this heightened position. It's always going to be a classic. Kind of trying to get chip damage in. Defense will drop down when they feel when they feel it's optimal to try and rush in and get as much damage as possible. Mizuki watching hallway here. Contain name knows that going down this hallway is going to be a lot of damage. Going to have to try and kind of push, pull. No, they actually rotate all the way around and waiting until this actually gets down to the choke point here. Gets the speed out, take it to the skies, and Contain name might regret that decision. They will. Freya finally going to be the one to take first pick and not be first pick.
Yeah, feels a little bit better here, gets the chance at the actual fight, and it feels bad because Contain actually tried to go around the corner, got stuck on one of the plants there, got basically stuck between a wall, and that was your in. That was your in to try and punch around, get a slide factor onto Snyder, but Snyder held strong. Very, very well done for them, and it feels like their entire team feels a lot more cohesive right now, being able to stay around this fountain side and make sure Anderson only funnels in through 2 different ways. Love this call out here. Let's see if they can keep it.
Bunch of damage, bunch of healing getting chunked under this bridge right now. It's a classic choke point here on Dorado, has been since day numero uno. Contain name, this is just a simple issue of communication, right? It's important. In all your interpersonal and business relationships, folks, communication is very important. Contain name pushes up there by themselves. There wasn't even really a whole lot of pressure to try and segment this team out either. And falls. Maybe this is just kind of like a, hey, I want to play Roadhog now kind of thing, though.
Yeah, maybe. However, these are very nice shots from Hello, like you were mentioning before. This Dorado tends to be a very lurk-heavy game. I mean, this is why Wrecking Ball was also so big in the meta previously. This used to be, the Wrecking Ball's favorite. You get all these corners, you get to find these shots. It's so easy to get the damage down without the opponent really worrying about it. And we're seeing it happen once more. Ooh. There's the chase, though, as Serena is able to chase down Hello, create a lot of space, and Twizzy goes way too far forward in the enemy team.
Teammates gonna be able to find a little bit. Hello dropped early, as you mentioned. The Echo chased them down. Serena got traded out afterwards, but losing the tank is a huge difference. Couple of shots, see if they can land it. Wow, so Krona actually gets there a little bit too early, and as the healer as well, you want to try and allow a tank, allow a DPS who's rather wily to get in there and hold on to this one. Well, Twizzy, this is their world. We're just living in it here, forcing out ultimates. This is the W here for the defending squad, even if they don't hold this, and they will not. Forcing out a couple of ultimates, not too shabby.
Yeah, very, very well done. You go ahead and kind of pinch your way forward in the Roadhog. Whole different story, by the way. The Doomfist did work, but now you get to play with the rest of the team. Or Anderson, really, really clean win for them. Snyder, maybe kicking themselves a bit, but now also swapping to a phase-first tactic. Mauga coming out for Twizzy. Hello still looking for the off-ramp, looking for those angled shoots. This is going to be a very, very different story heading into this. It feels a lot more contained in terms of what they want to do, or what the tanks want to do, at least.
I have to agree with you. You said lurk heavy. I think that's a perfect description, Orbital. There hasn't really been like a whole lot of up close, in your face, personal team fights thus far. Now with the Doomfist, or excuse me, now with the Roadhog and Amalga, that might be different. Krona finds a lot. There, that's initial pick by a healer. Gotta love it. Hello follows this one up, and they're doing all of this right now. Orbital off the back of the single Juno ultimate. Talk about value. Talk about. Like, when I talk about value with a single ultimate, what I mean, of course, is like they have a lot available to them and they only go with one. And it kind of seemed like, yeah, it kind of seemed like there was now forcing out switches on the other side. That's everything in a bag of chips.
Yep, it is going to be all your cards kind of shown here, as that's a snipe. Ooh, Snyder eats some damage, gets healed up on the back end, but or Anderson, you're still waiting for the kind of that break point, that ability to break on out to the battle. Snyder exactly where they're going to go here. I love this call on the high ground, but the low ground jump as Gigabyte is able to nail out Hello. Major DPS down, but that's Asa step up way closer than I was expecting here. Yamara just saying, what are you doing, guys? Ooh. You are in the wrong position. Oh! Sends a snipe towards Anderson's way, and that's a bully moment and a half. Yamara goes nuclear and wipes out Anderson's side.
Well, somebody get one of those Geiger counters out. I think nuclear is an accurate description. My goodness.
Yeah.
They hitting that heavy shot in midair, I might add. It's rather hard, rather difficult. Fantastic job for the defense here to shut down that push in its tracks. And the hazard switch. I do like this. This is feast or famine. This is big risk or reward.
Yep. And that risk is going to be a high ground moment. Ultimate dropped here for Popcorn, setting up a zone of healing and ability. Popcorn is going to use that to snap out Amethyst. It is a fight back once more as Snyder look to contain and hold the second point if they can. They have turned over 45 seconds. Gigabyte though, snap back and you lose your tank. But Yamara and Hello send an answer back. It's tit for tat, and the tat goes Anderson's way. They snap 3 more, and Popcorn and Krona can do nothing else. Point 2 will be taken.
Yeah, Krona has been doing a fantastic job of getting chip damage in here. Now the contest over. Well, as soon as I talk about them, they get headshotted. Jetpack catch, finish, Krona done. Healer from both sides, gone now. Anderson loses their second. Here it comes. That's a lot of damage. They are not going to be able to sustain through it. I think you called it accurately. No, excuse me. Defense holds strong, out pulls back. I got my colors mixed up again.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to say, but I mean, we're watching. That's going to be Popcorn yet again, holding it down here in the OT side. I cannot believe it. I thought it was over. But Snyder hold it down to only 1 point captured.
Yeah, so success on this map on Dorado is frequently defined by getting past second point and then how far past those 90-degree angles after that you get, right? Like there's the first one that goes to the right, then the left again, right? Obviously, if you can get on the final path, then you're looking really, really good because it's hard to defend from there, even if there is a mild height advantage, right? Not quite getting to second, though. I don't know, Orbital.
All of us are looking a little bit shaky. I know I am at least, but like you said, that high ground. Differences abound for either team. We'll see what Snyder cook up here. Remember, both teams excelled pretty heavily on the aggressive when it came to the control side, so maybe we get to see that here once more. Snyder reaching out. It is going to be a Widowmaker for the moment, plus hello on the Hanzo. Last time they tried this in game 1, it backfired quite heavily, I might add. Round 3 was not theirs in the sub-map category. Okay, a little bit of swap. This makes a bit more sense. This does make a bit more sense. Swapping back to the Emery, but for Anderson, you're all about it. The Diva out to play.
Yeah, I like this more, Orbital, because Yamara on the Emery and Hello on the Hanzo can get better chunk damage with less risk than the Widowmaker, right? Widowmaker obviously can only do so much when she's pushed up close and personal. Well, this Omri, that's a little bit of a different story. See how this one goes. I also wouldn't be super surprised if we see either Hello or Yamara change off of this DPS character after they just try and find some chunk damage in an early pick. We'll see how this one goes. Is the Diva now pushing this one a little bit, and that's going to be a tough push against Twizzy and playing on the Sigma. Now, onto point. This Diva comes forth, kind of interrupting some of the best laid plans. And just back and forth at this point. Mizuki getting the job done, gets a save, and this is free real estate that's being given up right now.
Yep. I mean, a lot of space being handed over. Now, keep in mind, when it was Anderson's side, they were able to push all the way to about 3/4 to checkpoint 1. So Snyder might be doing the exact same, but they're eyeballing these movements here and saying, okay, if they're going to let us, they have to be lurking one position or another. Great chain to lock down contain for the moment. Anderson not sure exactly how far they want to fly, but it's right in front of this cart that they're holding. Serena looking for the side. Are you going to get those snipes? Shot 1 kind of goes wide, and Gigabyte eats the loss. Anderson lose one of the frontline DPS, which means Owen and the rest have to scatter. Great start by Snyder.
Yeah, they have to come back at this one. Little Freya on Freya. That's going to be Hello taking down their counterpart, Serena. We'll see you back in spawn room. Mini Diva on the Zarya, fully charged Zarya. How's this one usually go? Well, we had a purple in the middle of it. You had a purple in the middle of it. That was almost it. You hit a couple of headshots right there. This Diva's going to be getting it back. Contain name. Gets to the corner. Cannot get their second mech down here. So frequently, it's the move to get to the corner, call mech down, and then whoever's chasing you gets killed by the mech falling down, right? With that change about, that seemed recent. It was like a year ago now, wasn't it?
It's always a lot of questions in there. Yeah, some changes went through a year ago, some came very, very recently. At the same time, it's all about the players deciding how they want to play this. And for Snyder, you're already very proud about this one. You just need to hit checkpoint 2 pretty much, and you're good to go for the win. 4 minutes to go. Emery open up with a very harsh shot, looking to take out that DPS, and Yamara might have done so. Another shot to the back line, lands, does decent damage, but no kills, meaning the heals come through for the squad of Anderson. And now they have 3 ults ready to go. 4 if you're counting that Serena one. A lot of damage can come through and really decimate Snyder if they're not careful.
Tane is going to have to get their Diva mech back. Other than that, this is a pretty good looking squad. As I say that, Yamara just absolutely dominating. Yeah, that on-run is singing supreme for... or no, excuse me, that's an Omri. I mixed it up again. They are not very far away right now, Orbital, and 5 meters to go. Here comes the Contain. That is a perfect pool shot from Contain name.
Oh.
Is there a tank that Contain can't play?
No, at this point, I am saying no. What a stop right there. Snyder, unaware of what was going to go down. And remember, that was a single Diva against 3 other ultimates. Beautiful work there for the side of Anderson.
3 minutes now. Still plenty to go forth and work with. I think this is kind of just going to come down to, I mean, getting a couple ultimates out from Anderson and then just waiting until Twizzy has their grav, right? I mean, it's not the most exciting of end games, but it happens frequently. Nope. Okay. It's going to happen a little bit less dramatically. Anderson going to be able to, wait, AHS? No, that's Snyder, I believe, that was able to go forth and take this down. It says AHS just because the the sides were swapped right there. Don't worry about it, folks.
Yep, we know the players. We definitely know the players and who was doing what. Beautiful work coming out of Snyder. They were able to slam home a victory in this right here. One of the best holds we've seen in a while coming out of Yamara's side. Ridiculous work overall, and I can only imagine it's going to continue. It's almost who can out DPS the other, who can outdo the other. And it's really felt like it's come down to that because of how aggressive they were originally on their attacking side in control. Bleeding over to this side, Emery is obviously a very strong DPS in the current meta. Everyone knows it, everyone plays it. Anyone that is a main DPS is going to run it. It's all about, do you have a counter in there? And to me, that's the big question. And are you keeping track of when the ultimate timer is coming up? Do you have a good idea of when those ultimates are going to occur? All of this has to kind of go into the minds of these players heading to game 3.
Yeah, it can not saying like that. I'm only saying that it can be more difficult for high school players because just obviously obviously they've have less years probably than older players playing DPS or playing first-person shooters, right? But you have to develop this idea in your head after playing Overwatch for a while of like, okay, especially tanks are going to be a little bit closer to the ultimate now, right? I'm not saying necessarily look at the time, write it down in your hand. Oh, 2:02, that was the last grav, right? But you develop like this kind of sixth sense for ultimate tracking, and it is so frequent that a team that's able to be like, okay, they're going to have XYZ available. Okay, this guy just, this Reaper, for example, just used their ultimate, but they've gotten 4 picks since then, and the lion's share of damage. Okay, that Death Blossom is probably coming again soon, right? Like sooner than I may have anticipated. This is the kind of ult tracking that frequently just almost single-handedly nets, like with that information, nets teams victories. And it seems like these are two high school teams that have at least one player on both sides that have a pretty darn good idea. Now, you can know that Diva Bomb is coming, and then you have Contain Name hitting that pull shot on the other side to just perfectly slot it right down the side of the payload and getting it in between 3 of them, right? Nobody able to get away.
Yeah, there are moments of just glory to be had for a lot of these players, and I agree that's kind of the name of the game. Can you outstrip the opponent that way? And those little sneak shots are what's necessary. You do need those little sneaky moments to garner a win for yourself, especially heading over into Flashpoint. Flashpoint, for myself, I've said it before, tends to be very micro-intensive. The reason being is the points get taken very quickly, so whoever gets the first turn generally will hold that point up to 80% in the first turn, and then you have to look at point 2 or 3. So it's a very fast action, and understanding your action economy will be the most important. Are we going to have ults up and available? Do we have the weight to kind of throw into this fight? If not, do we save the ultimates for the next flashpoint? What are the options there? So it's a lot of the back and forth identification for the teams. And for Flashpoint specifically, I really am looking at those DPS. Yamara looks so good. Gigabyte on the other side as well. These two have been kind of going at it. And I wonder if it's going to come down to, does Yamara have ultimate? Does Gigabyte have ultimate? What heroes are they on? And when do they use the ults to kind of turn the tide to their favor?
Yeah, I mini break here in the middle. What I'm going to ask is, like, what DPS are you most impressed by so far? And I feel like I have to say the on-run just because of how new they are, right? Like, obviously, there's been a little bit of time out here. But as far as DPS characters, I really do feel like, I mean, tank, you'd have to say Contain Name, I feel like. But on the other side, what's your call, my friend? I'm curious.
Are you talking about the heroes themselves or the
DPS.
players?
The players who are playing DPS characters in this match specifically.
So if you're asking me which DPS of the teams currently impresses me, it has to be Yamara. The reason being is we've seen Yamara not only in Game 2, but in Game 1, really dig the team out of very dangerous situations. Even though if it's just an ult turn, these moments where you get these ults, where you're able to kind of drop a massive round of damage and swing the entirety of the battle, you start to recognize that, one, you're going to be sectioned out. Two, you have to pick your times wisely. If you're going to get sniped out of the air, it's going to be a problem. If you get locked down, if a healer comes in and is able to stave off most of the damage, it becomes a problem. I think for Gigabyte obviously stands very close at the top as well, but I think Serena and Gigabyte have both done a fantastic job on the side of AHS. So for Anderson's side, the entire team does good enough where I think Gigabyte doesn't have to output as much. For me, it's all about Yamara, who so far stands head and shoulders, in my opinion, above most of Snyder's side.
You gotta agree with you. The variety picks, definitely Serena thus far. I mean, what we've even seen a Sombra come out there and get attempted with a little bit of value and a little bit of a reason to switch to something else. We're looking at New Junk City coming on in here. Fast teams. Maybe a little bit of Lucio action on either of these sides. Big Lucio main over here, Orbital, as you know. Haven't seen Lucio yet.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time, and I mean, I miss my boy, honestly. I do miss my boy. The only healer I ever played, because I didn't actually have to heal. I just run around in circles and pray that I heal someone up. Hey, do it, Lava. Do it. You know you want to.
There you go. Love it.
Hey.
Absolutely love it. It just makes sense as well. Obviously, you have Judo that could now positively influence the speed of more than one other teammate, which was obviously a title that Lucio alone held for a really long time. Really enjoyed it, and a unique aspect of the character. But that's no more.
Very, very true. We'll see how it goes and how it pans out. We are taking a little bit of time all on our own as well. As we get the opening salvos on either side, it feels like both teams are kind of scoping each other out, contained back onto the Doomfist, being a little bit more aggressive. But Gigabyte on that Tracer saying, I know exactly what you're going to run, and there's a chase into the enemy DPS. Snyder there on the blue side, lose multiple members. The Malga steps up, but is a little bit too little too late. And now they lost not only the DPS, but some of the healers, as down goes Popcorn, and Krona rushed out of the fight. Contained, though, oversets the boundaries and leaves the point wide open.
Great job by Snyder, realizing, hey, we got to collapse onto this Doomfist. If he's able to get out again, then he's just going to be back in a couple of seconds after slurping up a couple of big med packs, right? Love the May pick as well. You can anticipate Hello being all over this Doomfist.
Yeah, I really do feel like Snyder recognizes that this is going to be a tight corridor of plays. The May will have very optimal pace, but for Anderson's side, you already have the point. So are you really going to be that worried? Serena now just looking to fire in a doorway. Do you see a majority share of them? Go ahead, launch those arrows. And Contain is able to find out Yamara, but Gigabyte takes up and gets taken off on the far end. Popcorn was able to lay down the flail, and that's a lot of damage that you weren't really expecting. For Snyder, they're still locked in, though, and that's a wall to slow them down. But they have to walk on in. They need to touch this point because it is clearing up right now 70%.
Yeah, this is just a great job. I mean, so Contain dies right here, but at the end of the day, it was a great job just eating up a whole bunch of time of Snyder to get them to not come into this one. 85, 86, you want to try and tag that out. Okay, so I was going to say, you want to try and stay alive on point up until about, 98, 99 or something like this, obviously, but staying alive there can a little bit easier said than done. We got almost three players glowing over here for Snyder. That means ults are ready. Twizzy a couple % away, but nobody else like super close like he is, or like they are.
Nope. I will give a lot of credit though. Snyder turning a point where I did not really foresee that. We're still on 0-0 for both the teams, so there's gonna be a much more elongated flashpoint than I was truly expecting here. Time racking up quite quickly. Anderson do have 3 ultimates ready to go. Take a look for that bomb coming out of Gigabyte if the option is available, but Twizzy immediately launched into a tirade. Really nice step forward. Follow through by Hello. Gigabyte bites back with 1. Can they get more? Yes, they do. They get 2. But the majority share is against you right now as the DPS are down once more. Great stop by Snyder as their count climbs ever higher.
Yeah, they also do this with every ultimate available, 0 used. Of course, the Tracer there for the Gigabyte for Snyder used this in the previous team fight. It's also Tracer. She'll get that back next time the wind changes Orbital. Here comes the Doomfist down on top, trying to contest this one out. Not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, you have everybody on the side of Snyder just staring at this Doomfist as they are contained and hindered. This is just going to be a slow burn on the backside. Honestly, if you're Snyder, you want to try and rotate maybe a single player, like a slower player, maybe even this May or something, like onto next point, because this is New Junk City, and those points are rather far away, or they can be rather far away, I should say.
Yes, they are, and that's why we do see Anderson say, we can't take this point anyway, it's already locked, might as well head to the next. Well done by Snyder to fight back so hard here on the day. They are walking into this saying, we are the 3rd seed, but we will fight like the first all day long. And this Mauga, I mentioned it before, really doing wonders and kind of stepping up to that forefront. Gigabyte trying to find the angle here, locking onto some damage sources, just waiting for the flank opportunity. Yamara, though, sends out an eye and is unable to find any real damage. So ultimate actually expended for Snyder, and they don't get much out of it.
Yeah, last time you heard my voice, folks, they were a glowing 5, looking really, really good coming into this next one. Different story now. Hello's a little bit closer to it. Now takes point without a whole lot of... Yeah, I mean, Yamara does fall, and they have a healer down. I mean, Brig healing a Maga, healing a May is not exactly a recipe for success, but it's not too shabby when you take a couple picks on the other side as well. This Tracer Sticky is going to be available. Is she going to try and get this in? I mean, this should be onto the Brig, and finds it perfectly slotted.
Such a beautiful shot. Yamara finding that ace in the hole. It feels like an Anderson lost in the sauce here. Snyder are doing so much better than they did back on the earlier control. It feels like they found their magic here with the overheads, with a lot of these close corridors. Hello is holding off in the flank options. Yamara is allowed to kind of space out, take those shots without worries of any major collapses. I love it. For Anderson, we see no changes in the composition so far. They're saying, we can still fight this, we can still battle, we will look for that win contain. Now bringing out the Maga as well, but where are the healers? Healers need to keep you topped up, but you're at 80%, you got to make a move.
And they're doing the same thing they kind of did earlier, and like not even fighting on a point necessarily, and turning this into an offensive situation that they've obviously shown advantage at. Contain name falls first. A litany, a whole gang of these Snyder members collecting to take down that tank, and this is another just slow burn to the end. A fantastic job. They did invest the Blizzard here, but it should be enough, yeah. So second point, next one's going to be the big one.
I mean, that's as solid as you can possibly get, right? Very, very well done coming out of this Snyder squad. They barely have any ultimates to worry about as well. Big eyes for me. Where are we going to look for? In terms of Anderson coming back into this, their ultimate timing is kind of staggered out. Contain and Amethyst might have theirs up, but Serena's only real one, and for Freya, I want to see them be able to kind of pop off here. But still, for Twizzy on this Mauga, it looks so much better. Snyder have a true frontline now.
Really do. Well, Maga on Maga, we've seen this one before. Who comes out on top? Amethyst almost just gets absolutely taken down by these Maga shots. Just a barrage of ammo by yourself. This is not ideal. Here comes the grip, though. There's no edge with which to take this one off. It's not a bad play, I suppose, to try and take the Mog out of the situation for a couple of seconds, but Owen says hi, gonna bite the bullet from that one. I'm not sure if the Jetpack Cat is working.
Yeah, it's kind of run its course at this point. Owen has always had a little bit of a penchant of complications, and it feels like it's gotten away from them. Snyder, though, Big Eyes Twizzy has that gate, has that arena set up to go. If you lock down the opponents on their rush, if they're a little bit overextended, you can destroy an opponent. What a swap Contain! What is this call? You had the ultimate as well, but you swap out to the Sigma going back to Comfort. I'm not sure if I like this here at the tail end.
Even just to utilize that cage, right? To utilize that Maga ultimate at the backside. They're basically just saying that we really, really need a shield if we think we're going to be able to come through on this one. Here comes the ultimate from up top. That's going to be the May fighting the backside. Gigabyte actually dies with ultimate 94-95. They have to touch right now, and they got to get there. There's the trap. This is the wrong place to do this one. No, excuse me. The perfect place actually just to anchor out that tank on the other side. I thought that the other team had swat for some reason. So Snyder actually puts together 2 in a row, and the second one looked a little bit better than the first.
Oh, I think this one looked amazingly better. I gotta say, a 3-0. I mean, that's amazing in itself. And this right here, I wonder where this came from. I was taking a look. It looks like it was just a hard spray down. It wasn't really an ultimate swap at all. It's just perfect timing, and I love this read, by the way. I was mentioning before for Snyder, a lot of their compositional changes into the hit scan, into this kind of sniper formation, didn't really work with them, and it feels like they've gone back to their comfort style, which is a box out. You know, you play this very frontal composition, a little bit more close range, and you body out the opponent. They can't do anything. Very, very stalwart, and I have to say the core four, allowing Yamara to kind of do whatever they needed to on the far end, there was no room in there for Anderson to really push their way back out. And I have to say, Contain, like their namesake, got contained multiple instances where the tank for Anderson wasn't really able to do anything. Well played by Snyder's side.
It's always going to be difficult, right, when you have like Mog ultimates, Mei ultimates on the other side, these big, you know, area of effect ultimates that can be used to section you out from point when that's all you really need right now. We just need the one toe on the point right now to, you know, stop this timer or whatever, but it was perfectly read. I have to say, Snyder's also done a very good job of counter picking this Mei onto the very mobile tanks, whether that was Maga, there was the Doomfist, or whoever it was on the other side. Just done a really, really good job of, like you said, shutting down Contain name. Any situation, really, that you're going to let Yamara go forth, have the support, have the heals, and have the room with which to cook, it does not seem like it's going to be a really bad one, because Yamara always seems like that's the name on the left side of the kill feed when it does start to light up for the first time in a team fight.
Yeah, and I will say Twizzy also stepping up on the Malga. I don't know if Twizzy's actually comfortable on it, but it looked very good in this instance. Felt much more blocky, if that makes sense. A lot of the doorways held, the choke points were held down, and we haven't seen Twizzy on one of these. We've seen the Diva, and I think we saw the Zarya earlier as well. Like, these are very different on the tank side, so just as much as we are giving Contain name the benefit of playing multiple tanks, I think Twizzy did the same, maybe to a lesser effect, but still very impactful, much more so than in game number one. So I'm loving what Snyder is bringing.
I'm loving it a little bit more so because this seemed like it was a backpack play there for Contain name in the previous. I mean, the Doomfist was completely just put the entire team in the Jansport, man. But since then, it's this reactive Overwatch that Snyder has been playing, and that's exactly why. Well, exactly like the 2 points that we just said. What Orbital said and what I said about the counter plays, right? They're not just going with comfort picks and running it down mid, you know, the highest SR character that you got or something like that. There's a little bit more thought going into these picks, and there's like this real-time analysis, right, of like who is getting value against us, right? Okay. Some of these characters, you know, maybe it's just like a novelty or whatever, right? It's irritating to get anti-healed from an Ana, for example. Well, is that anti-healing turning into situations where multiple of your characters are dying? No? Okay, well, let's shift our focus onto something else. How about that tank on the other side, right? Okay, get a Mei, shut that down post-haste.
Yep, big shout out there, as well as I think it's only going to continue as well. I'm very, very curious on how quickly Hello is also going to have that freedom to keep playing the Mei. You called it out there before, but I am wondering how this game 4 is going to go. We do need to see a major shift from Anderson. You talked about the tank. Are we going to see Contain kind of shift off of it now that we're going more to a hybrid status once more? Or are we going to see them kind of stick and say, you know, as much as we swap, you know, we talked about it, constantly swapping, it can be good. At the same time, it can be very bad. When you swap so often that you're not on comfort picks and you actually lose a lot of your mechanical ability, we need to see where that balance kind of lies, because so far Snyder, they have swapped, but they found their center. They were able to kind of stay steady in that specific position. So I'm curious if Anderson are going to swap once more. I really hated calling it out. I think Contain swapping off and losing the Malga ultimate was really, really painful. You never want to lose something like that. I don't want to see them swap so often that they feel they have to do that.
In a perfect world, folks, Orbital and I would have like a counter of like total percentage of ultimate charge lost from swapping. Now, sometimes that is a deal that we want to make any given time, right? Like we were talking about. Okay, there's a player on the other side that needs to be shut down. Okay, take whatever potential you have from your ultimate here that's building up 40%, whatever else like that. No, switch, right? But you really hit the nail on the head, man. It seemed. Maga's ultimate is just so impactful and team fight just altering that just doesn't seem, and especially given that the Sigma has a pretty high counter for that. I think it's 3,000 points. It takes a while to get there, and when you're staring at like 40% on this type of game mode where that percent goes really, really fast, you just don't have the chronological resource with which to work.
Yeah, it's just timing wise is very, very difficult, and you have to recognize that. Now, granted, on push it's a little bit different, and I like it. So, with the swaps available, we can see a little bit of a shift in there. The swaps don't feel as bad because you're not aiming for point control. You have a full 10 minutes. As long as you're able to stop them at a checkpoint, you will have your turn on the battle map. So, this time around, if you do want to change, it won't be as harsh a penalty, but the penalty is still going to be there. 100% agree with you there, Tugboat.
Sir, New Queen Street is what we're going to be looking at next. Before we get into it, I want to give a shout out to LANFest. Yes, folks, this broadcast is part of LANFest's Scholastic Esports program, which is, of course, a program that supports this league and many others. Now, since launching, LANFest has delivered over 300 broadcasts. That number is actually much, much higher because it's written towards the beginning of this semester, Orbital. Brought over 300 broadcasts to scholastic leagues in the great states of Washington and Indiana. Now, we provide these broadcasts free of charge to the leagues, schools, and to the teams that we cover. And now your generous donations do make this possible. Every $200 raised covers the operating costs for one regular season broadcast and definitely helps here for the postseason. And if you appreciate our work, scan the QR code on your screen right now and donate today if you so choose. Very much appreciate LANFest and all that they do for Scholastic Esports within a number of different states. Right now, we're within Indiana, of course. Let's talk a little bit about what exactly is at stake here, right? Because there's some cool pictures going up on your various social medias and stuff, right? Like big stuff cooking up in the state of Indiana for the Indiana State Esports competitions.
Yeah, there's, the grand finals are coming up here shortly, and I know for a fact there are going to be a lot of people very, very excited to do so. However, we are going to take a very, very short break. Should only be about a minute or two. We want to make sure the teams are set to go. Once we're good to go, we will be all set for this game number 4 to see who takes victory, either Anderson or Snyder. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back. Indiana Esports Network here with the semifinals for Overwatch. I'm FBI Tugboat Orbital Cast, and we are staring down the barrel of a 2-1 as of right now for Snyder. Last two maps, I mean, the last one was pretty one-sided. The one before that, a little bit more of a slow burn.
Yeah, very much so. We saw the tit for tat. A lot of the aggression came out, but it was kind of settling into what works and what doesn't, I think, a lot of the time. Very important to note, Yamar and Hello have been able to bounce off each other very well, but I think that was also specifically because it was a very closed space. New Junk City was very enclosed for a Flashpoint map, and it works well for a main. Now that there's a lot more vertical space to work with, I do wonder if that's going to play against Snyder, because I don't think the Mei is as effective as it was in the previous map. They're going to have to find a different answer if they want to lock down Contain.
Very true. Very true. I want to talk a little bit about exactly what is at stakes here as well. Snyder, Anderson, both playing, obviously, for a spot at the IHSEN Spring Finals. Yes! Way out there at Riverview Health Arena. Unless I'm wrong, that's where the Pacers play. Little NBA action.
Hey.
Yes, these 28 state champions and runners-up across middle and high school. Folks, there will be a college fair there. Folks of the folks over there from the U.S. Army Esports will be there. There'll be cybersecurity presentations. There'll be competitions. There'll be open play as well in case, strict, hardcore, sweaty competition ain't your thing. There'll also be vendor fair and a whole lot of internship opportunities. I think I was reading earlier there's going to be 20 colleges there or something like that. So, hey, folks, if you're listening to this right now, you're playing high school esports, and you're interested in a little Kalehi-ho, right, a little collegiate esports, maybe taking on over to the Indiana Esports State Championships.
A lot of fun, a lot of action. Let's see how it locks in here. Snyder looking to finish this one off and move their way on to the grand finals. And so far, it's answering them in style. Yamara with a quick snap onto Contain, who once again on this Doomfist, a little bit out of position. We've seen them do this times before, and it's very dangerous, losing your tank so early. They lose Owen just as well. And Anderson, a little bit lost here in the opener.
I gotta agree with you. It's this push and pull, right? That constant back and forth that tanks like Doomfist play, right? Like there's completely out of position. Why are you there? And there's like, oh, that guy's playing a fantastic angle, right? Always playing the middle ground between those two and maintaining sightlines so you can get healed from your teammates. So right now that's Kiriko. That is the Juno. Hello falls in the thick of things. Amethyst pairing with the Doomfist to get that pick, and that is going to be bringing this one back a little bit. That robot is sprinting right now, Orbital.
Yes, it is very nicely done so far for Snyder as they back away to set themselves up. Hello on the Cassidy instead, so another way to kind of keep the opponent away. And this time around, I kind of disliked the Cassidy before, but you still have that Emery in tanks, so the Cassidy is a lot more of a supporting cast member, which I don't really hate, all on their own. We'll see how far it pushes once more. The bot is pushing in favor of Anderson right now, but they are going to be walking right around a corner. Owen trying to chase in and heal a teammate off the back end. Quick little shot. 1-2 heals up. And this is where the big clash is going to occur.
Yes, it is. Contain name has really been taking the lion's share of this damage foisted out from Snyder so far. Here comes Yamara quickly. Heavy shot. Here's a couple small ones. Heavy shot down bottom. Is not going to find it and gets taken down. Serena.
Ooh.
Now their turn. Fat shot first. Light shots afterwards. Got to get this brig. Can't find the corner.
Tough times abound. Contain able to rock on out. Huge drop in. And there's the speed that we were talking about. This open space is a doom for Snyder to play into. And there's a swap once more. Hello, unable to play the Mei, even on the Frosty map. Now has to swap to the Sombra. And this one as well, I'm not sure if it's going to work.
Okay, name. I'm trying to pick which side they really want to go in at this one. I feel like, so the Cassidy was definitely anti-Tracer earlier. Popcorn Lava on the Briggs, definitely anti-Tracer. Now, fantastically done. There's a rock on the backside. Amethyst, Owen, we'll see you later. The healing core. That's how you delete a pair of healers on the other side and single-handedly win a team fight.
So clean as well. Very neat on the hold here. Great wipe out, and Snyder gets to run it back. Really good push coming out of Anderson, though. 67.92 meters course, you know for a fact Snyder can hit that just as well. One clean team fight would actually give him a checkpoint and more. See if they can do so. A little bit of a hold. Gigabyte with a great slam on Hello on the back end, but Yamara finds Amethyst instead. Quick high ground action as that's Popcorn to send more than enough forward. The rally up by the rest of the team means that Snyder will have push advantage. And it's comfortable and controlled as Anderson rally back their own and look for the next fight.
Yeah, not going to argue against a team fight ever here, Orbital. Am going to argue against popping both support ultimates there. It really felt like the Juno ultimate was a little bit more crucial than the Briggs was, and obviously Briggs can be a lot more aggressive as well. There's another spawn change. Here comes the hack attempt. Onto a Doomfist is a great job, but they don't even need it. They don't even need it. Yamara and a couple others combined for it. That's an early use from the call or the recall from the Tracer, and they're going to get chased down afterwards with very little on cooldown. Snyder rolling right now, my man.
Yep. It's just Snyder on a run, and they're set to take this all. Ultimates available for Gigabyte and Amethyst. Kiriko Gates can do some work. There's not much for Snyder to hold on to, though. But Twizzy has some action. Also watch Hello. Hello about to have that EMP ready to go. Yamara ready with a quick spray. And they will open up with the eye. Quick snap of view. Who do they find? High ground being taken by the Sigma. Slams down one in the back line, but you already lost Hello. Hello is gone. Contain said, screw your tank. I'm finding your back line. What a distraction tool for Anderson. And I love every single moment of it. Contain single-handedly drawing Snyder away from a victory.
It was fantastically done. I have to agree with you, right? So the Twizzy, the Sigma here, and the rest of Snyder just pays a little bit too much attention to trying to take down that main support on the other side. Obviously, we got a Jetpack Cat joining the Kiriko now. Not going to be able to, right? Defended, healed, was going to be enough, and while they're doing this, the team is completely segmented out. Two huge sources of damage, the Sombra and the Doomfist now done, but Snyder takes a pair after that, and this will be another slow burn situation. Gigabyte tries to get out, not gonna happen. Has there been an elimination for Snyder yet that Yamara has not been a part of? My God.
Yeah, I mean, Yamara is the main DPS for a reason. We give him credit where credit is due. Very, very well played thus far. Looking a little bit further into this one, though, this is that push once more. They were drawn off once by Contain, who was able to access the back line, but it won't be as easy this time around. Owen, 88% on the ultimate. Snyder looking for some freedom, and it looks like they're about to find one. They did. Contain is down.
Now that's an aggressive Inspire, or Brig ultimate, excuse me, and the kind that you love to see. It was a wise decision as well, right? The Gigabyte realizes this, not going to be able to get away with it. Nice environmental kill here from the Jetpack Cat. We'll see if they're able to get back and provide value to the squad on high. Getting it in. Team kill. Anderson holds strong at the goal line.
Even without Contain, that is a wild amount to invest on in. Owen and Serena give a little bit more back, and Gigabyte, once again on this trace, are able to find the angle. It felt like Snyder might have gotten a little bit over anxious as well as they doubled up on that utility ultimates once again. But still, it's not over. If they defend well, they can hold for a couple more minutes. They can take this victory once more. Meeting of the minds here in the midway point.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Did that find nobody? It found nobody. There's zero value from the ultimate. As I say that, Contain name was segmented out from there and had to use cooldown to get away from it. That yielded a pick, so even if it didn't come from the ultimate, it will still give value for distraction. That's a shield that is not lasting very long right there. You project it out, the 113 is going to get deleted immediately. Does have the Kitsune rush here. Now my interest is peaked. No! Might have been a time to use it right there. Serena was getting all the attention from the other side in the world. No res, no nothing. Now you're going to be fighting this one 4-5. Serena will be coming back in just a second.
I mean, that was close. Serena looking, but that's Amethyst locked away. Twizzy, even without the ult, says, give me my kills. Yamara goes down, but has done the damage necessary. And there's the rush back. But Popcorn oversteps their boundaries once more. Contain, ready with the backline access, able to take out two. Hello is gone as well. And Contain gets all the healing in the world. The team rallies in yet another minute as Anderson stopped them at the goal line.
Yeah, the second thing they did is they did not panic. They just simply count. Okay, this is a 4v2. I can do that math. No Gigabyte. Even though they obviously would have gotten to the Tracer Bomb back, you know, the next time somebody sneezed, right? no meteor strike there from the Doomfist. No Kitsune rush from the Kiriko. Zamre. Jetpack Cat will have theirs back in just a little bit. Back to the middle yet again. I feel like this robot has lived here for quite a while, Orbital.
Yeah, it's been back and forth, and honestly, it's not a bad thing. At least for Snyder's end, you're okay with this. It's the dangers of losing one too many times. And that's why we're seeing Hello go down. Twizzy once again tries to send that flux. Is it going to work? I don't think so. Or actually, it did.
Oh,
it slammed
wow.
Owen. The cat's gone. What a catch. We didn't really see it because Contain was in the back line. But this time, Twizzy was ready to help out. Snyder have adjusted to the plays of Anderson. And they will push that bot once more. However, take a look at the ultimate caller. Snyder knows they're going to run up against a brick wall.
Yeah. Meteor Strike utilized from Contain Name. Everything else glowing, ready for the defensive. But 45 seconds to go. That means that Anderson's not going to have to just take this. They're going to have to... Oh, man, you're right. Gigabyte done. Full hack! Everybody hacked! All 5 people, Hello finds everything here, but striking back, Serena finds Hello, not going to be able to get out with the trade. Now
oh my
damage from on high. Twizzy finds 2, pushing in. Nobody, are they going to be able? Yes, Jetpack Cat actually touches there. Kiriko steps into it. Little bit down there. Now this Jetpack Cat is doing a fantastic job of kind of maintaining height right here. Nobody's paying attention to the Jetpack Cat until last alive. Now Gigabyte is there. Contain Name gets there as well, still holding on to it. We're talking about a half a meter away. That's a couple of Ks. Hello finds this one. The counter pick. Gotta get back to it. Contain Name last alive. Who's still on here? They still have players on here. There's still players spawning back and getting to it. They hold strong. Overtime. A little bit of life here for Anderson, Orbital.
It is a little bit of life, but that is a long way to push right now. I give credit to Anderson. They did their best, and I mean, Hello, amazing EMP. They were waiting for that moment the entire time. They died so many times that it was worth it at that moment to push just an extra meter more, which is an extra meter that Anderson need to go, but they invested everything. They've used all their ultimates. They need a bounce back in Snyder. Just need one good fight.
Gigabyte knows how absolutely disastrous it could be for them to fall here and early. They have to have this threat up. And the constant danger of this tracer bomb. They're really giving way more space than really is necessary. Is trying to get damage in. Once again, segmented. Serena, we'll see you later. No more venture here on the board. Light shots, heavy shots, everything. This is a Doomfist trying to avoid it all. Yamara just puts it right on the head, a hat on a hat. And that might be it. No, barely gets there in time again. Anderson, white on rice paper plate in the middle of a snowstorm.
I cannot believe what's happening here, but it was a stalwart defense.
Man.
Anderson battled back against the modes, but Snyder C3 topple Anderson 3-1, and are your victors moving on to the grand finals.
Fantastically done, Snyder. Hats off, hands together. Well, I mean, they fought hard in some of these maps. I think this one right here is another one you can say that. First 2 maps as well. I mean, a little bit of a roll there. That what was that? What was that third map? That third map, Dorado, yes. And then followed it up with the New Junk City after the tying factors. But I'm so glad that we did not see some 3 Overwatch here, Orbital. I think that's one of the bigger things here. But yes, hands together, hats off. Snyder going on into the Indiana State Championships there at the Pacers Arena, name being, of course, the Riverview Health Arena at Innovation Mile. How exciting. How exciting, right? As esports gets like more and more relevancy, right? We're going to see a lot more of these really, really cool events happening in massive, more traditional sports stadiums. That's exactly what you're going to see. April 25th, 2026. Show up bright and early, 8 a.m. They're going to be going until 6 p.m. Again, that is Riverview Health Arena at 14157 CJ Way over there in Noblesville, Indiana. Fantastic stuff. And what a way to punch a ticket, man. Right, Orbital?
Yeah. I mean, it was amazing. I was really worried after game number 1, and then we saw that shift. Yamar and Hello really kind of brought it back. Yamar specifically, stalwart through the end. I mean, getting the picturesque start in map 2, and then map 4 being able to end it in OT, being able to snipe everyone out. The consistent rock of a DPS. Loved every single moment of it. Very, very impressed with this team, and I'm excited to see what they can do against the first seed. I believe they're rocking up against, actually right now, I think we're seeing the other one.
Oh, no, you're right. That's
yeah, the other one's actually in progress. And what's crazy is Indiana Digital Learning are actually down 0-1 against Speedway. So I'm curious to see who's actually going to make it into the grand final spot.
Hey, we saw a technical upset, 3 seed beating the number 2 seed there. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of it. Speedway, number 5 seed, taking down the number 1 seed right there. Be sure to pay attention to socials and, of course, the League OS page for more updates on that one, live updates and whatever else. We're covering this one, not that one. Speaking of the LOS portal, of the League OS portal, do you want to play esports in college? Well, now you can search hundreds of collegiate esports programs over there at portal.league.os. Now, scholarships exist for players, shoutcasters, hey, and more, so list all of your talents. Verified collegiate coaches are searching the LOS portal right now to find players just like you. IHSEN students, you can sign in to manage your prospect profile where all of your stats are updated game over game. For example, all the players just played in this one, their stats will be up on the website by tonight, guaranteed. LOS Portal also is free, of course. Don't miss your chance to get discovered. Visit portal.leagueos.gg and level up your future. Classic old band statement, man, I really wish stuff like this had existed when I was a little bit younger, working through high school and college, right, Orbital?
Yeah, it's very, very necessary. Both of us over 30, both of us just like, we're dying on the inside, but we wish we could have played esports when we were in our heyday, and, you know, maybe I could have gone pro. Who knows? No, I could not have. I tried. It was bad. But
there's a reason we're here.
Yeah, there's always a reason we're here. But still, very big shout out to League OS Portal, and it was a treat getting to see Snyder be able to move on to the grand finals here in the IEN. Very, very special for them.
Yeah, bro, I'm not going to lie. This is so, like, especially given that, like, we're casters, we always want a little bit extra Overwatch, but when you look at a bracket and there's literally 3 Overwatch all the way through every single match in the qualifying rounds, in the quarterfinals, and then once you see, like, oh, well, it's not 1 through 4 seed in the semis, it's the 1, 2, 3, and 5 seed, right? So it's kind of like, oh, well, on paper, everybody's making it, but then you see an upset like this, you see a little bit of extra Overwatch like this, and you see Anderson show 0% give up in their blood, playing until the whistle, however you want to call it, man. They did everything right there. I mean, there were 2 different times before they actually lost in actual overtime, right? Where this was looking like it was done and dusted. This looked like Snyder was going to be rolling all the way in there. No, there was no give up whatsoever. Counter swaps, ultimates, picks, everything was working there for Anderson. Obviously, just wouldn't work all the way through. Big shout out to Snyder. I also want to give a big shout out to Connie and to Taylor, our production staff, working on the ones and zeros behind the scenes. As I always say, Orbital and I are just 2 fantastically good-looking guys screaming about esports in our rooms without our production staff, bringing the show to all of you. So very much, and again, thank you to Connie and to Taylor. I also want to say, folks, join us again, Super Smash Brothers Best of 3, 5 p.m. I believe that is tomorrow. Yes, that is tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, tomorrow.
Yep, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thanks all of y'all for watching, really. Orbital, do you have anything else for the good people before we do bid them adieu?
Keep eyes on all the socials, because you know there's more grand finals in the future, and you get a sneak peek at all the competitors that'll be joining on in at that arena live. And if you get a chance, even give a big follow to some of those that'll be performing, maybe not just in Scholastic, but maybe collegiate in the future as well.
Really, really cool. Really, really cool. Folks, if you enjoyed what you heard, obviously follow away on the Indian Esports Network on their various social medias. Follow Landfest, and also follow me. And also follow Orbital. That is FBI_tugboat literally everywhere. And that is Orbital_casting over there on Twitter. Is that everywhere else as well? Did you get that everywhere?
Yeah, most of it, yeah.
There you go. Orbital_casting, folks. Appreciate y'all for watching, and we'll catch you on the flip side.